September the 6th, 2017. I'm making my annual documentation of my property. Last year we had a severe drought, so everything was pretty dry looking. This year we've had plenty of rain, but got a hurricane coming 2-3 days away. So this could also be a documentation of a pre-storm documentation. And this is my driveway leading back to the main property. And you can see all the different plantings here. Ficus altissima tree here. And you can see our warning signs. Since last year I cleaned out this area right here. It's brown looking. It's all overgrown. I put some plantings in here, some Tubechia joannis and a ficus tree. Gracinia Draco right there. But I'm going to put a lot of other stuff in here as I get time. Here's my oldest foxtail palm. It's never flowered yet. I've got some Alexander palms, some Orchontophoenix Cunninghamiana over here. Lots of them planted. I got a little spindle palm right here. Got some clump of bromeliads starting to flower up. Some more over here. A little clump back here up against my property line. Small Tibicina granulosa right here. Some flowers. And some Black Timor bamboo. It's sending up some new combs. As you can see, I'm right here. This is a young clump. I have a smaller clump right here. I don't see any new combs coming up though. You can see some hibiscus stiliaceus up in there. Don't see any yellow flowers or red flowers at the moment. Some Serenoa repens. These were here when I bought the property. Agave neglecta. And I got a Washingtonia foliifera over here. Don't know if that's going to wind up surviving or not. I just planted it this year, growing it from seed. Ficus microphylla, Lord Howe Island variety, I guess. Over here I got Bambusa chungyai. And over here is a clump of Bambusa membranacea. And in front of it is some sickly Washingtonia robustas that refuse to grow, no matter what I do for them, even though the pH is like 6.4 or something like that. Okay, here you can see some new culms coming up. Tell by all the white, powdery, waxy residue on them. Over here I've got a Phoenix sylvestris with potassium and magnesium problems. Another one where I give it plenty of 8-2-12 and dolomitic lime to no avail. But what I noticed, I've got Schefflera arboricola shrubs growing out of the boots, just like a ficus, like a strangler fig. I noticed them starting a couple years ago, and I left them there. I don't know if these things are partially epiphytic or they're just getting their nutrients from the organic matter in the boots. Right here I've got a Ceiba speciosa, and it's starting to bloom. You can see some of the blooms there. Some years ago I sprouted a bunch of seeds. Here's a bloom. And I planted several more of them on the property. We got some yellow elder over here. Got a Cuban royal palm here with the trunk all pecked up by sapsuckers. Ficus microcarpa right here. This thing was frozen almost to the ground in December of 2010. So you can see all the multiple trunks coming up as a result of the freeze. Over here I got a Eucalyptus grandis that I got as about a 3-foot sapling, like in a 1-gallon pot, and it's been in the ground 6 years, and you can see how tall it's grown. It's probably the tallest tree now on my property. Exfoliating bark, if you can see. Some clump of traveler's palm over here. Right here I have a African oil palm. It's done quite well for me in my 9B USDA hardiness zone, but only because I've protected the trunk and mirror stem to keep it from freezing back in 2010. By putting jugs of water all around it and then wrapping an insulation blanket around it. Bunya tree here. Got some bromeliads here and 6 pots of floss silk tree that I grew from seed. I'll probably end up trashing them. I don't need any more. Here's my burn pile. I do a lot of burning here. Here's some senna. Can't remember the species. And my shade house, which I'm getting rid of this winter. I've pretty much cleared it out. I've got a few things left. And my greenhouse, I'm going to get rid of it. Use the framework and cover it with some waterproof tarp, and use it kind of like a carport. Put my lawn mowers, lawn tractors, etc. in. Over here is my largest Ficus altissima variegata. I planted this in 1999 as a 6-footer, single trunk. And in January of 2000 it was froze to the ground. And then it re-sprouted, and this is the result of it. and it was hurt in 2010 on the north side of it, but it's all recovered now. Right, here's my storage shed. Sable palmetto, small sea grape, some snow on the mountain, Sirius peruvianus, choked with vines, a clump of Perotis palms that I grew from like a 1 or 2 gallon size. And then on the end I've got a Phoenix rupicola or rupicola, however it's pronounced. It's crowded and it's starting to lean out due to the crowding, but it's the way it goes. This queen palm that was leaning, or is leaning, was partially blown over by Hurricane Irma, and it turned back up. Geotropism. It was a double, but the other one next to it was killed. I had it removed earlier this year. The Ganoderma butt rot. I kind of expect this one might succumb to it one day. In fact, you can see a conch that has emerged since I've had it cut down. I've got to pull that out and get rid of it. When I first moved here, this sable palmetto was here, and I left it, and we made the driveway slab to the garage here, and we had I planted a queen palm over here. But since we had moved here, a volunteer palmetto, sable palmetto came up, and as you can see it here, paralleling the existing one, and it's almost as tall as the original one. I got a fire bush right here. My wife's got stuff planted in pots. And back here, let's see, right here we got a sable uricana. I grew that one from seed. I like the color of these. They seem to be a little bit bigger than sable palmetto. And next to it I got an Alligoptera seashore palm. And a queen palm here. A fairly nice one. I see a squirrel up there. I can zoom up there to him so I can see him. Oh, there he is. And in the backyard here I've got put up a little dog fence for my wife's 3 toy poodles. And I got a lot of Bismarckia nobilis silver form. A new frond opening. I had a big one right here and lost it to palmetto weevils a couple years ago. And you can see where the stump is. I planted a little Livistone australis right here. There's where the stump was. Got a small Bismarckia here. Silver form Serenoa repens in here. Uh-oh. Hello, Lacey. Hi, Romeo. Where's Heidi? There's Heidi. Come on, Heidi. I see you looking. There's my beautiful Heidi. And back here, Sable Bermudana, very slow growing. I've had that, I think, since 2002. It was very small, but yeah, as you can see, that this thing has not grown compared to that sable palmetto that I just showed you that came up. Man, this thing is a snail compared to the other one. All these sable palmettos here, they're native to the property. And back here, I've got 3 Livistona decora. Here's one here and another one there. Purchased all 3 at the same time, but yet this one has outperformed the other ones by far. This is my largest Bismarckia palm, and it's producing seeds. This Butea capitata I got probably back around late 1999 or 2000. I've never once seen a volunteer seedling come up. Now here's another Livistona decora that I got 1 year after the other 3 that I just showed you. And this thing's blown by them, and I got it from the same vendor. I don't understand it. And around the base I've got some agave siciliana. And then over here I've got another Butea capitata. It was blown on the side by Hurricane Irma. You can see how it's got a lean and a bend in the trunk. This is Bambusa textilis gracilis. I put this here as a screen for the neighbors on the west side of my property. I can see it putting up some new cones. Okay, now I'm going back into a lightly wooded area of the property. And this is over to the west side of my house. And right here, I've got an ear tree that my wife grew from seed. And you can see the ear pods all over the ground, seed pods. This thing has really grown. It's becoming a monster. And then I've got Livistona. What species, I don't know. What I do know is the palm leaf skeletonizer has really been chewing on it. Here's Schefflera actinophylla. These Sirius peruvianus, they're coming up all over the property. Birds are pooping out seeds here and there. You can see them coming up right in here. This is a Livistona cerebus, and to the right of it is a Livistona drudii. And over here is a smaller Livistona drudii. And next to that on the left is a Oranga tremula. Kind of sparse, far more slower than Oranga and Glarii. Okay, up in this tree, I've got dragon fruit vines growing, and you can see that one there. They're growing like 30-35 feet up in the tree. I planted that jackfruit vine at the base of this tree about, I'd say, 12 years ago. And it's grown up the tree, and the fruits are inaccessible to me. You can see some of the vines. Growing up this scrubby oak tree are philodendron scandon vines. Giving it that tropical look. Here I have two small jackfruit trees. They're both different species, although or varieties, whatever, I don't know what they are, but they've never bared any fruit yet. So I gotta enjoy it for the foliage. Kind of has a ficus leaf look to it. This clump of Serenoa repens is original to my property. At one time it was choked in wild muscadine grapevines. But it's one of the few vertical clumps that I have. It's the biggest vertical clump. Some of them, as you can see, have fallen over, like this one. And some of them have died out. You can see a trunk there. I lost several trunks on the other side, but I cut them up already. Here I've got Sabuletonia, which is native to the property. Here I got a Bacaryophoenix alfredii. It's got some wild potato vine growing on it. Small ficus rubinginosa that I grew from seed. I've got lots of them planted around. And over here, I've got a small ficus microcarpa that has come up on its own. And you can see some roots there. Aerial roots starting. Here I got a clump of some species of pandanus. I don't know what species it is. It was given to me, so I took it. And next to it is a Caryota maxima. And over here is supposedly Cariota Elvis. It's probably just a mitis. Right here is a Ficus lyrata. It's never done much. Too much shade, it's been frozen back. Next to it is a Yucca elephantippes. Everything's crowded, it's my own fault. Small sable minor right here. And a Yucca, Ficus elastica. Got big leaves. There's a clump of Cariota mitis, all going to seed. Here's another hibiscus tiliaceus that I grew from a cutting taken from a local tree. This is my other Dipsis leptochellis, or teddy bear palm, and it's back here in much more shade, protected area. It's never been hurt by frost. I don't think there's been any frost back in here so far. I see some tree limbs up there I'm going to have to cut out. The Hoon Holly tree limb. I got a clump of traveler's palm here that really got tore up this summer. A lot of the fronds were broken, snapped in thunderstorms. So it doesn't have a lot of spread on it right now. Small Ficus benjamina, variegated. And this little shrub here, I have no idea what it is, but I know I either grew it from seed or a seedling that a friend gave me, picked it up in Cancun, Mexico. You can see the bifurcated leaf. This here is a sable Maritiformis that I got in a 1 gallon size in January of 2002. It's really held up well even in the coldest weather. In January of 2010, when all of Florida got hit by a prolonged cold spell, and we actually got down into the low 20s here. This is under some canopy, and it got a little bit of damage, but not much. This here tree here, Enteroboleum, this is the hardiest of the genus. and it was given to me in June of 2003 by the late Bob Riffle, author of the book The Tropical Look. And I planted it here, and I've actually had my tree trimmer cut a lot of limbs off of it that were interfering with some of my palms, but it's really grown up to be a nice tree. And I planted this philodendron, actually Monstera deliciosa vine rather, at the base. And I wish Bob Riffle was alive today to see it. I think he'd be pleased. Got some Archontophonix cunninghamiana palms over here with some philodendron burley marks growing up the dead trunk of this tree, which used to be a red bay tree that was killed by the ambrosia beetles, a laurel wilt disease rather. This here is my smallest Cyagrus Botryophora. I got it like a 1 gallon size 8 years ago, I think this October. And it's probably 25 feet tall right now. My other one's much taller. Used to be a huge clump of Bambusa old hamii. And for some inexplicable reason, the entire clump died out last year, or a year and a half ago. But it's sending up new combs. So maybe the clump will reestablish itself. You can see some of the dead combs, but they came way out. I pulled out probably 50 of them that were loose out here where this tall grass is. And you can see some new combs right there, 2 of them side by side. This is my oldest clump of traveler's palms. And this one here, I have to keep, got a trunk, and I have to keep stripping the pothos vines off of it. Here's a sable Urisana I grew from seed. One of many that I've got planted. Some pine cone ginger back here getting ready to turn. This here is a Livistona, I believe it's a hybrid Morellii and Decora. I'm not sure. All I know is it was very fast growing, extremely fast. This is my Syagris schizophylla, and it seeds regularly. I just collected some seeds off of it the other day. I managed to keep it alive. Even through the cold of December 2010. This is my dwarf Malayan coconut palm, Cocos nucifera. I've been harvesting nuts off of it for the last 3 years. This year I didn't get as many as last year. I'll probably get some more maybe in a few months. And I don't know what I'm going to get next year. I see some started. There's a new spath unopened, pushing up through there. And right now it's got probably 7 feet of trunk. I think I've had this palm about 13 years now, from a trunkless palm. Here's my oldest Dipsis lopchelios, teddy bear palm. Lots of probably potassium deficiency. I gotta chalk it up to genetics because my other one doesn't have this deficiency. And I feed this palm plenty, 8-2-12. This is the my north property boundary. I got like a drainage ditch down in here, and I've thrown debris over here over the years, and you can see alocasias and bananas, xanthoma. But over across here is all state preserve property. Nothing will ever be done with that, so it gives me some privacy on the north side. Is one of the reasons I bought here. There's a small, all these queen palms here, every one of them are volunteers. I left them here. I'll probably be sorry. And a small Bismarckia palm right here. I just stuck it here. Didn't really have any other place to put it. This is my largest Beauty Agris palm. I guess I've had it about 15 years, maybe more. I got it as a 15-gallon size. It was very anemic, pot bound. And once I got it in the ground and started feeding it, it greened right up. And it's probably got getting close to 10 feet of trunk. And over here is my second Beauty Agris palm. I got this in 2013. It was given to me for hosting a Central Florida Palm and Cycad Society meeting and garden tour. And it's grown quite substantially since then. It's just starting to develop a unbooted trunk, as you can see. And looking back, there's my other Beauty Agris palm. A cross between a queen palm and a pendo palm. Okay, this here is my tallest Cyagrus botryophora palm. I'm kind of zooming in down at the base. And I will follow it up to the crown. There you see it. I estimate the top of the crown has got to be 35 feet or more. He's opening up a spath. There's some flowers. She flowered last year. Haven't gotten any viable seed that I know of. Anyway, this is my tallest one. I have a shorter one or a younger one. And it is the fastest growing of all the palm species I'm growing.